Hey, what's up guys? John with GoWesty again. Today we're going to do an install on the GVW-top lift kit, which is pneumatic lift assistance for your top. If you have a rack on your van, it's probably best to take it off. It makes it a little more easy and accessible up there. First thing we're going to do is pop the top and we'll get started. So our next step is going to be to install our lower bracket. There's two different options here depending on what you want to do. The rearmost raised portion in the vehicle is for less assist. The frontmost raised portion is for more assist. We're going to install both options today, but you can just do one or the other. So when you're installing these brackets, you want to get the bracket centered on this raised portion. What I like to do is get my bracket into place and then mark where our holes are going to need to be drilled. You'll notice on the lower bracket that this ball stud is oriented outboard the vehicle. So next we'll use a punch and a hammer to make an indentation where we need to drill our holes. So I like to drill a smaller pilot hole first, and then we'll drill our holes out to 25/64 of an inch. So we're going to install our rib nuts into the van. Use just a little bit of silicone around each rib nut when you install these. So now that we have our rib nuts installed, we're going to go ahead and install our bracket. What I like to do is put a little bit of silicone on the top of this hole to catch the bottom of this bolt, and a little bit more on the bottom of this hole in the bracket so that we get a nice seal around this. So when you get your struts in this kit, they're going to have these locking sleeves on them. You don't need to take the sleeve all the way off. All we have to do is disengage the locking mechanism, which is just this orange ring. Simply grab the strut here, grab the orange ring, and twist it 180 degrees. Now our strut doesn't come into lock position. The alternative to that is to unthread this cap and pull this off. These tubes are nice to keep on though because they act as a dust shield. So when you install these, you're going to take a small flat blade screwdriver, slip it in the back, and pry this ring off a ways. Then you can snap it onto the ball stud. We'll go ahead and grab the next mounting bracket, snap it into the other end of the strut, and raise the bracket up to meet the aluminum tent rail. We'll also notice that the orientation here has the ball stud facing inwards. So using a Sharpie, we're going to go ahead and mark the tent rail where we need to drill to mount the bracket. So now that we're ready to drill our holes, the most important thing is to make sure that we go straight through this top and not at an angle, since the top is actually at an angle. Also make sure that you're wearing eye protection because you are going to have metal and fiberglass falling. So now we'll go ahead and drop our mounting hardware through the top. Apply a little bit of silicone to the washer. So now we'll go ahead and mount the bracket up to the top. The back bolt can be kind of tricky to get the nut onto. What I like to do is push the bolt up, hold the nut in place, and thread the bolt down into the nut. So now that we've got the top mounted, we're going to hop over to the other side to repeat the same process. If you were just installing in the rear location, then you're all done. This van I'm going to install options for both locations like I said before. So we're going to install the lower bracket the exact same way we did before. The only difference is there's two layers of metal here that we need to drill through. We need to make sure that we drill through both layers of metal. The rib nuts will install the exact same way as before. Once you have your lower bracket mounted to the vehicle, we'll assemble the front bracket and lift it up to the top, mark it, and attach it the same way. So that's it guys, really simple install. Where you place the strut will depend on what kind of a load you carry on your top. It is really cool to have both sets of brackets so you can change that positioning, or you can always run two struts on each side if you needed to.